Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the Greatest Story Radio Show with Momma T, powered by Hot 407 Radio. Today, we're talking to the lovely Mikaela.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from.
My name is Mikaela. I'm from Orlando, Florida. Personally, what I do right now for a living is I am an in-house counsel for an insurance company. Been in the legal field for over 10 years. Actually right now I'm venturing into the entrepreneur side of building websites and doing marketing and also coming out with my first book as well.
Nice. That
So
is
I'm
great.
excited.
All right. So, can you tell us just a little bit about why you chose to do what you do as far as the marketing and the law? I'm sorry, I think you probably said law, not marketing, but you work for a law firm, but the social.
Well, the reason why I chose law was because I've always wanted to be a lawyer since I was 4 years old. I actually have, like I said, been in the field for over 10 years. I've practiced with doing Social Security disability, personal injury, first property, and also business law as well as doing trademarks. Um, I am in the field of being transferred over to becoming an attorney right now, doing more with basically trying to get people that look like me out of jail because a lot of people have been wrongfully accused and also dealing with a lot of immigration as well because my mother as well is not from here as well and understanding what she had to go through to just get like her papers is also kind of heartbreaking that a lot of people go through those type of things and a lot of people are not trying to help them to get like their green cards, they're scamming them, and I just rather use what God has given me with and blessed me with to help other people in any way that I possibly can. And as for the marketing part, I love marketing. I've actually worked with a couple of like nonprofits and other brands with building and helping them build their vision to life. I like being creative. As you can see in the background, I love drawing. I love just showing a different side of myself. And you can create anything you put your mind to, is what my mom always taught me. And being able to bring something that's written on a paper to life is just a beautiful thing. So
Oh.
being able to tap into a different side of myself and showing someone else a different version of me, because a lot of people see me in like the law field and they get to see a different sides of Mikaela is always something like amazing to do.
Yeah, that's beautiful because I know I met you recently and I didn't know all of that. We just get to talk at these places, but not in depth, as much as we will get to do today and in the future. But I know that you are a woman of God, a mighty, mighty woman of God, who I'm so grateful that God brought into my life.
Always use me as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to have people that love God to, for you to be able to talk to. We love everyone, but it's also good to be able to come together and commune with people that actually have a heart after God as well, because we can kind of like go after people that don't have that relationship with him yet, or they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to have that relationship, and then we can support each other in going after and winning people for the kingdom, so and getting that encouragement and prayer along the way when we don't feel like it,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, when we're going through things. So I'm just happy that I was able to meet you. I always say it's an unexpected meeting because God always sets up these divine appointments,
Mm-hmm.
and we
I
meet
totally agree with
people.
that.
Just wanted to tell you that I'm so blessed that he brought you in my life, and then I wanted to make sure I just asked you. This is the a show about him, so I just wanted to know how you use your relationship with God. First of all, how you came to know and have a relationship with God, and then how you use that in your chosen field, in your job, and just everywhere that you go.
Okay. Love that. Oh, well, I'm a pastor's daughter. So my dad is a pastor. Well, he's a retired pastor now. And both of my parents are religions. My mom is Seventh Day Adventist. My dad was Baptist. Uh, so growing up, I went to church every day if you think about it, because I went to private school. So church was something that we did every day. And growing up, I kind of just felt like I was kind of going in the motions. Like I learned about God, but it wasn't until I became an adult is when I really built my own strong relationship with God. Because when we're growing up in the church, we're going off of what our parents are telling us, where our pastors are telling us, and we don't really ask them many questions. We just say, well, this is what our parents tell us what God wants us to do. And so we actually open up the word ourselves and actually study the word. We get to understand and we build that relationship with God. And honestly, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the grace that I receive from God, because I'm not perfect. I make mistakes every day, but God still loves me. And,
Amen.
when I sit down, I wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and I talk to God and I spend that time with Him and I ask Him, God, please use me as a vessel to guide me in the right directions, because when we ask God to help us guide us, He leads us in the right direction and we go off of our own understanding. This is when we get into trouble and we wonder why our life is like where it is right now, because God is trying to get our attention. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes with me, I'm a little stubborn. I think I know more than I really do. And sometimes God has to bring me back to level to remind me, like, no, you need to
Mhm.
come and speak to me, talk to me, let me lead you to the right directions. When it comes to my field, when it comes to being Christian, you really need God in my field, especially of law. And I say that in a
Wow.
way because for a few years, I decided I was not going to be an attorney because of how some of the people in firms are. They're very angry. They drink a lot. They're not the
Wow.
most nicest people, if that makes sense. And I'm very bubbly, and I was like, I don't want to be like these people. And
Mm.
one thing that I learned over those years is that just because someone is like that doesn't mean that you have to become like that. You can be the change
Right.
that you want to see. And I feel like a lot of people, even myself, complain about things, but we're not doing anything to fix that. So being able, having God in my life and letting God lead me helped me with dealing with a lot of problems, especially in like the legal field. When it comes to dealing with angry clients or angry
Mhm.
attorneys, and just talking to them and showing, even when they're upset, giving them grace, being, still being respectful, not letting them their energy rub off on me. It's
Yeah.
still, and I know it's hard, especially in like a toxic field. But I know that even when it feels like it's uncomfortable, God placed me there for a reason. And I learned a lot about myself by being put into that situation. And also I was able to help a lot of people and also change a lot of people's mindsets. Like it's crazy when you talk to some people and they're just like, wow, because of like how you are, like I'll bring my Bible to work. I will pray. I will be in the lunchroom. People will walk in, they'll see me in there pulling my Bible, because you have to ask God for coverage. Even when
You
you're
do. You
having
do.
those worst days and you're just like, God, please help me. I'm not feeling like myself. I'm feeling like this anger is in me because of what this person said to me. Please help me to deal with that and release that anger and, remind myself, I'm blessed. And not to let the devil distract me from your true purpose that you have for me in my life. And, it's hard, but
I
you
think
get
it's
it done.
hard for all of us. And that just goes back to me saying it's a blessing to meet you because honestly, I've been in Florida for since 2011, right? I went to a
Mhm.
church in Alabama. Uh, they set the bar so high with making sure a relationship with God is the utmost importance to the point to where, and I worked in ministry for a long time too, so I had to, of course, follow these rules and set them. So it's like if you didn't do A, B, or C, you couldn't be in ministry. You couldn't.
Mhm.
Like the pastor, like, no, you can't be in ministry. If you're not tithing, you can't be in ministry. If you're in sexual immorality, you can't be in ministry. And I feel like it's something else. It is something else. I just can't remember it. And I actually had to follow that when I would let people come into the ministry that I was over.
Mhm.
Um, because, and not because they were being judged, not because they're being judged, it's because they, if I would allow, or the pastor would allow them to be in ministry knowing that they were in sexual immorality, or, just the Christianity one-on-one stuff, I call it, like not tithing, things like that. Um, that means that it's more important to him that he has people up there in the choir singing, using their gifts, than it is for them to have a relationship with God.
Mhm.
Because they can come and bring the house down because the word doesn't return to God void. So the word is going to be good, and the messenger can be really good. But if that person is going home and they're beating their wife, they're sleeping around, or they're in a relationship with somebody they're not married to, they're not bringing their tithe into the storehouse. If there's anything that they're doing and they die that night, it doesn't mean anything because they have to face God, right? So um that's the thing with that, being able to come along, and I said that little bit, but it's like since I've been here in Florida, I haven't met people that don't necessarily compromise in that, right? So I mean they don't act they compromise that. And I'm not saying I haven't met people that stick to that. It's just that if I did meet them, I didn't really know them because we don't have, relationship. And it says on they tell us not to forsake the assembling of the saints. So, but I haven't been anywhere where I had people that I could fellowship with, to get to know them on that level, and I would see people and even here working in ministry that they would compromise that because it didn't matter. I have this gift. So I'm going to
Mhm.
use it. It doesn't matter how I act, at home. It doesn't matter how I act in church, even, if you can
Mhm.
believe that. So it's like you're the first person that I met that I know just doesn't like compromise. And you say that you're not perfect, but I'm not perfect either. Nobody is perfect, but it's just this thing of making sure you kind of like try to walk the talk. I mean, we're not going to be able to do it perfectly because we're not Jesus, but um not condoning the sin. It's like, yeah, don't, because you can love the person and you have to love them, but don't condone what they do because you're not helping them. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to their relationship with God, you're not helping them. I'm like sugarcoating them straight to hell. It's like you're
Mhm.
doing that. It's like, oh, it's okay you do that. No, it's not okay that you do it. I love you, but I don't think you should do that because it goes against your relationship with God, not me. You're not hurting me. You're just hurting your relationship with God. So, but yeah, you are the first person that I met that's like, with the stuff that you tell me, and I'll let you tell it. But it's like I'm like, what? I'm like, God, it is someone here that doesn't compromise. Because you can feel alone. You can. And it's
Do.
hard. It's hard because the world is saying you should do this now. It's like this new age thing. Oh, it's okay. You should do
Yeah.
that. Get with the times. Like, yeah, but I'd probably be in hell if I did that. So
I'm telling you that God will be speaking to you like, you shouldn't be doing that. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna walk away at this point. No, but I completely understand when you say about in the church because growing up in the church, I have seen some things where it's just like you see people that they'll go out on like, well, I went to church on Saturday and they will go to church on Saturday and then on Saturday night they'll be right out in the club, they'll be drinking, they'll be partying, and then they'll be the ones that'll be trying to judge other people like, oh well, I can't believe
Mhm.
that she wants to come to church and look what she has on. Or I've seen people get escorted out of church based upon their outfits because
Yeah.
it was considered distracting. Like I went to a church in Alabama and we had Megan Good and her husband come. That's when I was in
Wow.
college. I actually met her. She was super sweet.
She seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, she was really shy. I was very shocked. Um, me and my friend had went to church at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we were preparing to see them. And we see all these people coming into church. Some of the girls are in club outfits, and the pastor is praying, by the way, just praying. And they're getting up to go and talk to her while, the pastor is like praying. And we're just like, in my head, I'm
Wow.
like, did you guys come to hear the word of God, or are you trying to get a picture? And she was so terrified of these people, she locked herself in the bathroom and would not come out because they were bum rushing her and not letting her out.
Oh.
This is in a church. And
Mm.
me and my friend, we left and we saw all on Instagram of like them like barricading their cars and everything. I'm like, so what word of God did you get from this service? Or were you just too busy trying to take a picture with someone? And people are not
Wow.
realizing actions, like remind you, she is not 7 Day Adventist. Her husband was. So she was a newly 7 Day Adventist and learning about like the things that we do. But how is this making us look good as 7 Day Adventists when you guys are bum rushing her while the pastor's praying just so you can take a picture with her? Like,
Mm.
what is that showing? Like, it's kind of sad when you really think about it. Like, just knowing a couple memory verses and going to church every day is not going to save you. It's
Mm.
when you read God's word and actually use his word and it's shown through your life, that's where it's going to save you. How you treat other people, the things
Yeah.
that you do and the things and how you act. And like people don't realize that, like, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect, but trying to be a better person and it shows. Like, I think it brought me to tears. I will never forget this when I was 19, when this man, I was a student aide and I was helping him out and I was talking to him and he told me something. He's like, I can see that you are a God-fearing woman. I was just like, me?
That was just my thought.
He was just like, I can truly see God's light shining through you. And I was like in shock. And I was just like, well, thank you, sir. Like, I was just being a nice person, being very understanding and being very empathetic because the people like my mom and my grandmother and my aunts, I had some very strong, powerful women that helped raise me. Like they said, it does take a village to raise you. And the women around me, they all had powerful careers. Like even now today, I can go to any of them and I can talk to them. My aunt sends me Bible verses every day. So my mother
Nice.
will send me devotions every day. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she prayed every Tuesday was her fasting, and she would call every day and ask, said, "Hey, do you have any prayer requests?" And she would pray. And I know that I've been covered because of my grandmother. She was a definition of a God-fearing woman. And I asked God, I said, I would love to be a God-fearing woman like my grandmother. You never saw her angry. She loved everyone. She would give you the shirt off her back if she could. And no matter what situation she was in, I'm telling you, she would pray to God and she was like, I know that God put me in this position for a reason. I'm going to leave it in God's hand. I'm looking at my grandmother like,
It's so true. I mean, I'm saying it's true, but I've been in some situations and it's like you don't know how you're going to come out of it or if you're going to come out of it or God, is this fair? That type of stuff. But I've been in some situations where I was like, God, you know what? Have your way. And did
mm-hmm,
he? Did he? And he
mm-hmm.
shows up and show out, as they
Yeah.
say. But you go through this stuff and you made to look like a demon, like a legion. I'm saying I'm like, some of the stuff,
Mm-hmm,
I was like, oh, and it's embarrassing. But I'm just like, God, have your way, because I know, and the stuff that he exposes when you say that, no matter how embarrassed you are, no matter how it makes you look like the scum of the earth, it's nothing compared to the stuff that he exposed in other people, that
mm-hmm,
tried to peg you as that person and smudged you like that. So, it's not a good thing, but when he shows up, it's like he like, you know what, I'm preparing a table in a place for your enemies. Just chill. I got this. You have to go through this because I have to expose this over here. The stuff we have to go through for God to expose things, and hopefully change things, in those people that he exposed or change other people that's watching.
If
But
you know the
yeah,
good
it's like,
time,
girl,
the
I'm
great.
loving it. I'm having church up in here with you. I'm about ready to come to your house.
Hey,
About
you're
ready
always welcome. Listen, we can have Bible study every Wednesday.
Yes.
I have over 12 Bibles in my place. I got all type of
Love it.
Bibles. I'm down for it. So
Yeah, you should start. Do you have a Bible study or do you
I
not
have
yet,
not.
huh?
I was thinking about starting one. I did one last year with like a
Mm.
couple girls, because I met this girl from another friend at a beach, and she really wanted to know about God. And me and her just started
Oh,
having a very deep conversation. I don't know why, but God is always placing me with people. And me and her, we started having Bible study at my apartment. We actually went through the whole Bible together, and she ended up getting baptized. Um,
nice. Well,
so I do want to start again. I just love, I told God I really want more God-fearing friends and God-fearing people I can do stuff like that with, because just talking about how good the grace of God is, it's
it's
amazing.
amazing. That's all I'm like. It's amazing. Yeah. When you said that about the Bible study and she got baptized, I've been thinking lately, I want to do something, like I'm saying, I feel like I need to get myself right first. I'm just not right, but just like go out and baptize people in the ocean. You've seen that.
Hmm.
Yeah, go out and do things where people you just get baptized, people that usually probably won't go to church, unfortunately, these days because of things that happen
In
in
the past.
church that affected them negatively. In no way, shape, or form do I think people should come to church with scantily clad clothes on. Because
I
the
agree.
Bible says come, but the Bible says come as you are. Now, I feel like once you come as you are and you know better, then you don't dress that way anymore. That part. But it's people that do dress that way, or they just don't love themselves. They don't understand the love of God and their value yet, but they might come to you and you baptize them. You teach them about God and baptize them and say the sinner's prayer and things like that. And then they know better, so they won't dress that way anymore, and they might go to a church.
Hmm.
But I mean, it'll start where people being the hands and feet and doing groundwork to go out and pretty much evangelize for people that will not go, to church for whatever reason. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely come to your Bible study and and the baptisms and you can baptize people in your pool over there in your community.
I totally love that. I
Yeah,
know.
we.
I agree with you when it comes to like dressing. It's because I feel like some people they don't know any better, and I
Mhm.
feel
Oh
like
yeah.
they see certain things, and I believe in people to come as they are. You know what I mean? Like, and when you see how other people are dressing and how, that may be a good example to them, like, okay, maybe I should try doing this, or maybe they might meet someone and be like, do you think this is appropriate to wear? Like I grew up in a very modest lifestyle. My mom was born, like I said, she was born in the islands, and we were not allowed to have our shoulders out at church because that's considered disrespectful.
And then
And
some guys like skin on your shoulders. It's
yeah.
like, and it's like it's distracting.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
And
distracting.
that's
So
exactly what
yeah.
it is. It's
Hmm.
distracting. And that's like, even when you go to like private schools, we all had to wear the same outfits, but we had to wear in a modest. And growing up, when I went to college was my first real experience of being in public school and seeing different like people and seeing how some of the girls wore certain things to school. And I guess I would say I was a little bit like, I mean, I was 17, so I still wore like little flower outfits and had a flower in my hair and wore braces. But, I dress, the way that was meant for me. And I don't feel like I needed to show off my whole body to the world. My body's not for entertainment. You know what I mean? So
No,
I
that's
dress the
right.
way I want to be approached.
Hmm.
And so I can still be beautiful and wear fully clothed clothes, and guys will still try to talk to me. I don't need to show off everything. And I feel like
Yep.
society has this idea where they need to wear see-through outfits and their
Ooh.
boobs out just for likes. And I'm just like, those are the people that honestly they need help. They're screaming for help. They need the validation from men or people to tell them that they're
Lost
beautiful.
souls. Like you said,
Yes.
just running, yeah, running to and fro.
And you can see
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is I'm, being in the underground music industry and stuff like that, I see a lot of people that do it and I love them, but I never condone it. I never
mhm,
con only because it's not that it's not appropriate. It's not godly, and they need it's God wouldn't want them dressing like that. They don't value themselves. That's why I never condone the sin. I don't condone the sin, but I do love them and I can't condone it because that'll be like I approve.
mhm,
And I'm supposed to be representing Jesus, so I have to be careful. We as ambassadors have to represent Jesus. And at the end of the day, even if the outfit is cute and I'm like, girl, that's just drop dead or just I
mhm.
can't tell you that because it's like God is gonna be like, what you say? Is that what he said? Did you just make that up? Did you just approve that? So
Exactly.
what people don't understand is I can't approve it. Even if I think you're cute, because I got to deal with God when I get to the house. Well, like
Mhm.
right then, he's gonna be like, and I'm gonna be walking around feeling guilty. I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, like you did though. So it's like I have to, I end up getting in trouble with the Lord. I don't, yeah, I don't want to, you know.
And sometimes you're in a situation like you want to be nice, like
Yeah,
it's a cute outfit, but it's like you could have just covered up just a tad bit more. Just
yeah, you do. It's
like a
like, and I
jacket
like,
over.
I mean, and I like, I like to, look nice for my person though. You know, we're supposed to be saving ourselves for the person that God has for us to marry. So of course, if I go out, I'll try to dress up for the person, the one that God is like, this is the one. But again, like your body is not for everybody. It's not. It's for that person. It's a gift for that person, which is why I really do admire the fact that you said that you're waiting. Which is that's the right way to do it. There is no other way but that way. So I mean, I didn't do that only because I didn't get taught those values. I didn't become a Christian until I was 25. Once I did, and I was around these men of God, man, these mighty, mighty men of God. And people don't think it's true, but there's some men out there that do not compromise. They don't like women that got their skin out. I'm not saying it's not a temptation, but I've seen men like it's like they do not like that. Men of God, like some of the real mighty men of God I know, they do not like that. They don't hate the people. It's just that's just not their thing because God is leading them. So it's not attractive to them. And then they have these wives just like yourself, just like drop dead gorgeous. I'm telling you, there's nothing more beautiful than a woman that got Jesus on her. I'm telling you, it's not. It's like a different glow, right? And
It
you
is.
said that you people the guy said that he saw something in you. He saw something godly, and I saw it in you. Like my spiritual mom, right? I used to be around people that invite me to church, and I seen her one day. I was like, they're like, I said that lady must be a Christian. Mind you, everybody around us was going to church, but I wasn't a Christian, but I knew, the difference. I know the difference.
Mhm.
Everybody's got the seed of good and evil. You just choose good or you choose evil. I was like, that's a Christian lady. I said, she must be one of them Christian ladies, right? Because I seen that on her. Not that the other people wasn't nice, but like you said, you were just being nice. But it's a difference between being nice and also having God in you, you know? So it's like I see God in you, and then over here I see that person is nice, but it's not the same. It's not the same spirit, it's not the same soul, it's just not the same energy as everybody says now, energy. But it's not the same. It's different. I see a lot of nice people, but then I see a lot of godly people. It's a big and you don't know that unless you know him. That's like, and even with my spiritual mom, I didn't know him, but I knew the difference. I was like, oh, she's nice, and she wanted to, but I was like, she got Jesus in her. That's like a whole nother level, you know.
It,
And people, like I said, if you know, you know. People don't know. And if people do know, they know something is different, but they don't know. They can't put a name on it, Not yet. When people say they love you, it's like you don't even know me. That's how I was when I was a Christian. The lady told me she loved me. I was like, this lady crazy. I said, she what? Like she don't even know who I am. The spirit of Jesus loved me, right? And I know
Hmm.
this lady all these decades later, she's still the same. She'll give you a hug and like call you boo, because the spirit of Jesus was in her, right? So of course she could say she loved me because she loved me with the spirit of God. I didn't know what that was. So of course I was like, that lady is crazy. So
She a little weird, but but she nice.
but yeah, I was like, this lady is crazy. She don't even know me. Talking about she love me. But now as I became a Christian and know people, like I say, when I say I love you, it's like I love you with the love of Christ because I did come to realize I love you. I might not like you, I might not like your character, but I could still love you without liking you or hanging out with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I see in you. I see that niceness is not like a worldly niceness, it's a love of God inside you glow. So your beauty is different. So this person is like, oh, she's pretty, but yours is a beautiful glow. It's just different. And like again, if you have to know the difference, you have to be able to see it through a different eye, in the spiritual realm, and then that person is beautiful. Like Sarah Jakes Roberts,
Yes, I love her.
and the way she dresses, right?
She, she
She's
just
so modest, but I really need to sit down and ask her to help me with my wardrobe. But
and
she is
that's
gorgeous. And she like modeling and stuff, but she is like
Mhm.
a Christian gorgeous, drop
She's
drop dead gorgeous,
her
model.
glow, even her
Right?
energy.
She just got this glow, right? And then you got other people that's models, and you just like, put some clothes on. You can dress up pretty and be a model, like you dress today on this Zoom, and you can be pretty. And actually, it's more beautiful. I don't think people really understand that until they understand that you dress the way that God has you to, because you value yourself, you love yourself, you know how He feels about you, and He know that and that He knows that you deserve better than to show your body off to people. And other people don't know that yet. But we gonna get together it's like it's a lot of people that's around here, the ram in the bush. God is sending people infiltrating for us to be a light and show people you don't have to dress like that. If you get attention from a guy dressed like that, that's not love.
It's not. It's really
Mm-mm.
not. It's just lust. And people have
Yeah.
to know the difference between lust and love.
Yeah, so it's sometimes it seems like it's so easy to mix that too, It's like, oh,
Hmm.
I love you. It's like, no, I didn't. Well, I love the idea of you,
Of
but that's
you.
not who
Yeah.
you are. That's not who you are. So,
And
but
they don't think you
yeah.
have to know someone like that. And that was the reason why I took well, basically I have this ring right here.
Oh, it's
My
pretty.
my mom gave me this on my 14th birthday, and this is my purity ring. And it's a pink heart and it has two diamonds on the side. The pink heart stands for God, and one is for me and one is for my husband. And that's for her.
Wow.
She gave me a speech and told me that no relationship without God is not the relationship that you need to be in. And
Mhm.
she told me, my mom waited until she got married, and I realized growing up, I was like, we were taught at my school, especially growing up, they didn't do sex ed with us. They literally told us that not to have sex before marriage. We actually signed contracts at our school, and if we got caught doing that, we would get kicked out. And so I realized like growing up, it was just like 17 is when I started college. And I had to make a decision. Like all my friends were starting to get into those things. And I realized I was like, no, like guys will still cheat
Mhm.
on you, whether you have sex with them or not. They will still cheat on you. And
Yeah.
I believe that every man that tells me I'm beautiful deserves my body.
Wow.
Just like you wouldn't give every man or every person that you meet the ability to be in your house or your car keys or your social security number. So why are you sitting here giving them your body?
The most
And
precious thing.
exactly. And that's something that you don't get back. And I wanted my moment of my first time to be with my husband. I even have letters I made for my future husband. I write them every month. Well, it used to be every week, but I've been getting a little bit behind. So I've been writing them every month, and they're prayers, they're things that I'm gonna give to my husband in a box of letters saying that I prayed for you. I literally got on my knees and I asked God to bring you into my life. And I believe that, I actually didn't have too much of issues with guys when it comes to the whole thing of me waiting for marriage. Because either I just never brought it up to that person who I was talking to at the moment. Because if a guy is sitting here asking me these questions, I already know where your mind is. And I'm
Yeah, it's
automatically
true.
just not in the middle of it. And then when I do tell guys that I am waiting for marriage, they're actually okay with it.
Yeah.
Shocked. They're just like, really? I was like, yeah.
Mm,
I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, I think college in my early 20s is where your faith is really tested, where
yeah.
um your parents teach you everything, and I was sheltered, and that's where my faith was tested when it came to doing drugs or drinking or having sex before marriage. I was not ashamed. I'll tell a guy to their face, I'm like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm not having sex. So if you're looking for any of those things, don't waste your time. Have a wonderful day.
Hmm.
It's not with me. Honestly, I feel like I had a conversation with my uncle about that, and he was like laughing. He was like, "Niece, I love you," but he's like, "You kind of give off the energy of that." I was just like, "Oh, okay." Like you still have like your innocence about you, and I was just like, "Okay, well."
That's good. I never like really, thought about that, but
Me either.
yeah, I do think about it like with guys sometimes. So I'm like, oh, I was like, they probably have, like, that's good. I
They
mean, I don't know for sure. I never asked. I never.
I mean, they actually do because one of my really close friends, he recently got married last year
Mhm.
and he was waiting for marriage. Him and his wife both they're both 7-day Adventists, never had sex, and they waited for marriage and they recently got married. And I feel like we both had that same energy. So I'm assuming maybe. But I mean, maybe I just had really good luck. Maybe I'm gonna say that probably with some
Yeah,
guys. But who
yeah.
knows?
I know a lot of guys that waited with their wives. Well, the guy and the girl, like they went to church with me. Like my pastor waited with his wife. My spiritual dad, which was his dad, waited with his wife. Yeah. But I mean, they were like high school sweethearts. They've been married, oh my gosh, for like
Yeah.
30 years. Yeah. But I mean, I do know a lot of guys that, actually waited because, and I guess going to church it's not really a thing that comes up because it's normal to wait. It's like, yeah, we Christians,
Hmm.
that's what we do. So it's not really a
Yeah,
it's
like
not
if,
really a
if you tell
conversation.
yeah, if you tell them that, like, I had an ex-fiance and I had told him about it, he really didn't have a problem with it. It was just more, it's a normal thing. But when you think about it, you're building more of a stronger connection that's not built on lust. Because when you're having sex, you don't know if you're building a connection with this person or a soul tie. Or
Yeah,
and that's why a lot of
yeah,
people come back to these people. And I'm just like, do you really actually love this person? Or is it more of a soul tie? Because when I say I love you, or I care about my friends or people or a person I'm dating, I get to know you on a personal level. I listen to
yeah,
what you're saying. Like
yeah,
little small details. I may pick this up for you in a birthday gift. And you're like, wait, you remember that? Yeah, I remember though, because that was important to you.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't build those type of connections with people. And that's how I want my relationship to be. I want my relationship to be a type that is one centered around God, because we can't do anything
Most
without
important.
and I want my relationship to have great communication because I want us to be able to communicate with things and go out and we might do adventures or talk or do something that's outside of just being in the bedroom, because at the end of the day, what do you have besides that? Or also I want to
Yeah.
prevent unwanted pregnancies too,
Oh
because
wow.
I do
Yeah.
not want to be a baby mama. That was my number one thing. I was not going to be a baby mama. And you'd be surprised when guys tell you these things. I had a guy tell me that. He was just like, "Oh, you wanna would you ever want to be a baby mama or have a kid for me?" And I was like, "I take that as a threat, sir."
Yeah. Nobody wants to be a baby's mama.
He
I
had a kid.
mean, not really. I mean, it's probably people out there. It's probably people out there that does, but it's like nobody
I
wants to
mean, he's
be
an
like a
attorney. So
yeah.
he was an attorney. He had the money. He's like, I make enough money. Like, I'll pay for you to go to law school and everything. And I was like, it's still a no for me, sir. Like,
Yeah,
it's
because it's what it is like a no commitment.
correct.
Yeah, you don't have to commit, all the people used to say, "Why about a cow when the milk was free?" And unfortunately, guys do that. I don't even know if they do it on purpose or it's just something in them. It's like, why? You don't want to get married, like why? Like we live together. We have a great partnership. It's working. Why we need to get married? And I
Why
hear a
do
lot of
that?
people say, yeah, and not just guys, girls will even say it too. It's like,
Mhm.
why? I was like, I don't feel like we do. Almost like, and then they'll say, if we get married, we might break up, and that has happened. But not really anybody I can think of personally off the top of my head. But it's like, I feel like a lot of people say, well, why? It's like we fine. It's like why we have to get married, for
Mhm.
it's the commitment. It's beautiful. You don't get out of marriage as easy as you do if it's a baby's mama, or we just in a relationship and we living together. It's not as easy to walk away from a marriage as it is a relationship. That you
Correct.
just your boyfriend or girlfriend. So yeah, so that's like, nah. I was like, we don't need to.
It's the commitment issues that people have, or they're mostly scared, or basically their parents may have gotten divorced and they've seen how their parents reacted, so they don't want that for their own life. Because I've had a couple of friends that've seen that where they're like, well, my parents, they were together for this many years and they got a divorce, and why would I want to put my kids or my partner through that? And I'm just like, I personally date for marriage. That is,
Hmm.
I if I don't see a potential of us getting married, I won't waste your time or my own time. And
Yeah.
I rather be by myself and wait for God, because like I had to learn that it's not my time, it's God's timing. And
Yeah.
I thought I'd be married at 30, but clearly that did not go as planned. But that's okay, because God was preparing me, and there's things that I needed to work on in my personal life so I could be prepared for the right person. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people are too focused on the person they're supposed to be with, but instead of spending the time to focus on themselves, what are things that you may need to work on personally so you
Hmm.
can attract the right people? Because sometimes you do attract who you are, what level that you are on. And
That's true. Yeah.
and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that, like, even childhood trauma prevents people from getting into healthy relationships, and like things that they learned from their parents that, like I told one of my really dear friends is that our parents teaches us as much as the stuff that they know how to at the best of their ability. But
Hmm.
it's our thing as an adult to teach ourselves to finish growing up to be the level that we need to be on. So I feel as
Yeah.
though there's certain things that you have to work on. I had to work on. I had childhood trauma that I had to work on. Going to see a therapist. It's very crazy. Some people will not see a therapist. I'm like,
And it's weird. Yeah, that is crazy because I used to always say if you had a cancer cell, the
mm-hmm,
doctor said you had cancer, would you go to the doctor? It's like, yeah, like, well, mental health is also important. I think that people don't understand. Mental and emotional health is important. It also affects your physical sometimes. Like, n- first and foremost, I think the most important health is your spiritual, right?
mm-hmm,
It affects how you feel about yourself, so that affects your emotional well-being. And I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was 17. So my emotional health, it affects my financial because when I'm depressed, I won't go out and do what I need to take care of my bills and my kids, right? So
mm-hmm,
now spiritually, I never took pills. I would never take pills. But um spiritually, God helps me with my bipolar depression, right? I had to when I became a Christian, I prayed all the time, I prayed all the time for my mental. And that's the thing, having somebody, can help you mentally so that you can go out and do what you have to do financially. When I'm off track spiritually, I get sick, frustrated, hateful.
mm-hmm.
Also affects your physical. You start getting sick. People depressed eat. People that eat too much gain weight. People that
Yep.
gain weight
That's
get
too
obese,
much.
you know, and stuff like that. So it's like spiritual helps your mental and emotional, helps your financial, help your physical. It was so good to talk to you today on here, and for you to join us. So can you tell everybody where they can find you at, like your IG or
Yes. My IG is I am Mikaela Serenity. Hopefully I get to meet more people like you.
thank you.
And thank you for having me on here. It was a pleasure. And as always, thank you for always sharing your lovely wisdom with me as well.
All right. Thank you too, though. Thank you for joining me. And thank you for listening to the Greatest Story Radio Show, powered by Hot 407. I'll see you all next week.
Hey.
Bye.